let's open this puppy up. See what we got. This is from Master Tool Repair. I blew up the piston and the rod. Somewhat of a catastrophic failure. So anyhow, we got new parts. Always fun to get new parts. This was the brand new ring that was in it. Kind of ate it. By the way, there's a few things in here that I learned. Had to get a new fan also. But they don't go over in the video. Even the Master Tools video. There's some things that you just don't know. So, what's interesting, I'll show you the difference here. This kit has got a new piston and bearing, cylinder, and gaskets. Now, one thing is curious. I don't know if there's an out or an in, if there's a way that you have to put this thing in there. But you see how that ring is folded up? If you just buy the ring by itself and put it on your old piston, it's flat. It's totally flat. And what happens is when you put it down in the cylinder like that and you try to pull it in, the piston wants to kick one way. And if you straighten it back up, the side that's on the upside stays up, but when you twist it back the other way, this lip falls down and then it creases the piston ring on either side. So the trick to that, show you on this one, there's a shoulder. There's a shoulder down in the bottom. The trick is to put that thing in there with that flat ring in it, and it takes a fair amount of pressure to push that thing down in there. Don't let that piston kick back and forth like that. If you do that, you're screwed. You've got to pull this thing all the way down till it bottoms out on that bottom lip, and that'll keep that piston ring folded up the way you want it to. You don't want it folded down. And you have to take the cylinder out to get the piston in. Now this one, it's still got the old bearing on it. Let's see what kind of handy dandy instructions we got here. That's a thick piece of paper. Packing slip. This is just a return policy. There's no instructions on putting this thing in, but they do have a really good instructional online to do it. So I've got to get this guy off, this old bearing off. And it's pressed on there, it looks like. It doesn't just pull off either. Well, this is the first puller that I came across. I bet this is going to be way too big. That might work. I've had this thing, I bet 60 years. When I first started working on motorcycles. There we go. That's not a bad bearing either. Now the question is, this bearing is set in a little bit on one side. I don't know whether it makes any difference. Got to go there. I'll need to push that down in the cylinder straight. Don't let it kick. Okay, that went all the way down. Now, I don't know if it makes any difference which side goes out. I sure hope not. That wants to go in at an angle. Let's see. That might be better. I've got that set in there where the recess part is this way, not toward the, and there's nothing on here that says this side out. Some of the rods come with a little lettering on here that says this side out. So, you know what? If I take that counterweight off, it only goes on there one way. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that counterweight off. Press this bearing on there. It's coming. I'm going to have to come up with something a little better as a wedge. Oh, that'll work. Will that work? Maybe. Get behind it and push it. There we go. Got some rust in there too, buddy. Let's see. There we go. That came off. All right, now see where the old bearing was. I think we're going to put this in the vise. That's threaded. That is threaded. What is that threaded? Is that 1/4 maybe? Okay, I'm going to have the recessed part, I think, facing out. So I'm going to put this in here. I think I'm going to put this in here like this. Let's see. Okay. Let's go get a socket. Okay, I've got a, what is this? 3/4 socket. Fits over that. It hits the inside of the bearing. There's a middle bit. Let's see. I hope this will go out far enough. What I'm trying to do is I'm going to take the shoulder of this bearing. There's a little, maybe I'll put this on the other side. There's a little shoulder over there. Okay, I'm going to take this bearing here and press it up against this shoulder here. That's it. Okay, right there is where that counter shaft was. Oops. Okay, what ended up happening, I did get a little cold chisel to fit in there, and it fit. Now, that thing is right back in there. Right where it was. And everything seems to fit okay. So let's snug this guy down. Counterweight. Okay. Make sure nobody rubs anywhere. That feels good. That feels good. Okay, now, the next test, see if the fan will go on there without rubbing into a whole bunch of stuff. I think we're there. Now, the intake, what is the intake? This gasket goes on top of the cylinder, and the intake is on this side, which I think are these reed valves. So, of course it doesn't want to stay in there. I wonder if I could take a little spot of grease. Dielectric grease, I bet that'll do it. Just a spot. And you can put this thing either way. You can get it backwards. A little spot of dielectric grease. I'm going to put just a, if I can hold on to the dead gum thing, put just a smidge of it there. 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 And there. Will that hold it? That looks good. Oh. Come on, man. Please cooperate. I think I got a little grease underneath it there that time. Okay, that's there. Okay, here's the head. And that gasket there is damaged. Looks like he fell out a little bit assembling this yesterday, or a few days ago whenever I did this. There's this guy. And these things want to fight you. Okay, that looks like that's in there now. Now we got the head. And don't forget to put your muffler / air filter thingy on there. Okay, so this is sucking in on this side, which means that these reed valves open that way. And this is blowing up this way to come out that, which means these reed valves go this way. I think that's right. That feels right. Okay. Let's see if I can feel any vacuum. Yeah. I hope I got that in there right. Let's plug it up and see. That's all. We should get air out of this side. Okay. we do. It sucks on that side and blows on this side. That's just what we want. Now, where the heck did that filter go? It got blown out of here last time I did this. I guess it didn't want any more part of that. Okay. And so, now, I think the compressor's back together. I'm not going to show putting the cover back on it or hooking those lines back up on camera. That just takes too long. So I'm going to turn this off. One more thing. This little piece right here snaps into this outside housing. Keep that air filter in place. I don't know why this thing moves around like that, but it does. Those two screws are in there tight. Okay, this thing is ready to rock and roll. Let's see how long. I didn't realize when I recorded that other video that when the screen was on full, you couldn't read it. So I'm going to set the timer. Let it blank out a little bit. And go down to the dimmer mode. Okay, we're going to start this thing from scratch. I did clean the gauges off so you can actually see them. There's nothing in the tank. It's completely empty. So let's rock and roll again. Minutes and 44 seconds we get from 0. That's 1/3 the time. By the way, about 1/4 of a beer. That was a fun adventure. That was worth the effort. Now I've got something that will recover quickly. It'll stand up to the total CFM that it's supposed to have. I'll be able to paint this car with dry, clean